So today I'm going to be ranking all 14 of my Tom Fords in my collection, and I have some from the private blend line and I also have some from the signature line, so stay tuned. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go to smash the subscribe button down below. But that's right guys, I'm gonna be ranking one of my favorite designer houses hands down, which is Tom Ford of course. And like I said, I do own 14 currently in my collection, but I do wanna mention that these are not all my favorite Tom Fords in general. There are some Tom Fords that I do not own yet that would absolutely make this list above some of these. But out of these 14 that I do own, I will be ranking from my least favorite to, I guess, my most favorite at number 1. So without wasting any more time, let's start off on number 14. So coming at number 14, I do have a summary Tom Ford here, and it is Tom Ford's Mandarino di Amalfi's Aqua. Now this is the Aqua version, as you can tell from the frosted bottle here. Now, this fragrance is coming at number 14 because, honestly, the performance is not the best. And in general, I'm not a fan of more like citrusy, fresh, aquatic fragrances. I do lean towards the darker stuff. But Mandarino di Amalfi is a very good, bright, zesty citrus fragrance. Perfect for the summertime if you're on vacation. This smells like vacation in a bottle. It just lacks in the performance. As far as longevity, it just does not last that long. It probably isn't as good as the original Mandarino di Amalfi and more the blue private blend bottle. But all in all, it is a good summer fragrance, but it is coming at number 14 for that reason. So coming at number 13 is actually one of my fiance's signature fragrances, and it is Eau de Soleil Blanc. Now with Eau de Soleil Blanc or Soleil Blanc in general, you do get a ton of coconut in here. It kind of comes across like suntan lotion. I think you have some white florals as well in this fragrance, but all in all, it is a very good fragrance, but it does lean a little bit more feminine than masculine, guys. For me, I don't think I can really pull this one off. I do actually like the way it smells, especially on a woman, but all in all, just not a fragrance I would reach for. Maybe once in a while if I do go on vacation or something and I want to have that coconut kind of sunscreen lotion feeling with a fragrance, I would definitely reach for Eau de Soleil Blanc, but it is coming at number 13. So coming at number 12 is Tom Ford's Jasmine Rouge. Now, honestly guys, I'm a huge fan of the jasmine note when it's very like dark, kind of dirty, earthy smelling. And with Tom Ford's Jasmine Rouge, that's exactly what you get with this fragrance. Yeah, heavy on the jasmine note, very, very floral, but it has a nice dark, kind of dirty undertone to it, which I just absolutely love. And I actually wear this one quite a bit, especially in the springtime, which we're going into currently. And I can imagine I will reach for this one a lot, but it is coming at number 12. Just because it is definitely not my favorite Tom Ford. There's a lot of better fragrances from Tom Ford on this list coming up, but I do absolutely respect Jasmine Rouge. If you're looking for a good jasmine fragrance, honestly, in my opinion, you really cannot beat this one. Okay, coming at number 11 is actually an oud fragrance that you can pull off in the spring and summer, and I'm speaking about Tom Ford's Oud Mineral. Now, Oud Mineral was honestly one of the first Tom Fords I got. I remember when I first went there to actually pick up my Tuscan leather, which was my first private blend. I also smelled like Oud Wood. I smelled Oud Mineral, and actually they gave me a decant of Oud Mineral that I remember wearing quite a bit, and I flew through that decant. So I did really enjoy the fragrance back in the day. And that was in the regular private blend, but they also just relaunched it in the Resort collection, which is the same price as a signature line. And I think at that price, you really cannot go wrong with Oud Mineral. But with this one, it's very, very aquatic. You also do get a ton of seaweed, which honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the note of seaweed. But yeah, it is done very well in Oud Mineral. But just because it does have a dominant seaweed character in this fragrance, that's why it's coming at number 11. But you also do get that nice dirty oud in there as well, which works perfectly mixed together with all those notes for like a summer kind of fragrance. But number 11 is Oud Mineral. So coming at number 10 is actually a fragrance I thought I would like a lot more just by the name of it. And the fragrance I'm speaking about is Tom Ford's Effin' Fabulous. Now, I gotta admit though, this bottle is hands down probably my favorite Tom Ford private blend bottle. It's in a matte black with the white label. it just looks absolutely incredible. But as far as the fragrance, guys, is it effing fabulous? Honestly, I would have to say no, it is not. I don't think it deserves that name, to be honest with you. When I smell this, I do not think, wow, this is absolutely fabulous. So in effing fabulous, you do have a ton of leather in this fragrance alongside almonds, which is very prominent, and then also dries down to a nice kind of smooth, creamy tonka. And for the price you're paying for this kind of fragrance, I think it retails for like $375 for a 50 ml bottle and $500 for a 100 ml. It just is not worth it, in my opinion, for this fragrance and the way it smells. With effing fabulous, it just kind of comes across like baby wipes to me, like baby powder, baby wipes. Just get that vibe from it. And ever since I thought of that, it almost ruins the fragrance for me. But I do reach for this one once in a blue moon. Not that often, but I do enjoy having it in my collection. It is very unique. I've never smelled a fragrance quite like this one, but it is coming at number 10, is effing fabulous. So coming at number 9 is actually a fragrance from the Signature line, and I'm speaking about Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra. Now, this used to be in the private blend bottles alongside Mandarin and Diamalfi in a blue bottle, but then they relaunched it in this gold kind of Beau de Jour bottle, very, very old school with a nice gold liquid. But with Costa Azzurra, this is a very complex fragrance. It's very woody, very citrusy. You have like lemon and mandarin in the top. You also do have seaweed, just like Oud Mineral, but I actually prefer this fragrance over Oud Mineral because it's a lot darker. You have like incense. You do have some Fougere qualities with the lavender, a little bit spicy. This fragrance is pretty much just all over the place. How I actually describe this one, it smells like if you're on vacation, like somewhere very nice, maybe tropical, and you're out at like a nice fancy restaurant wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. It just has that kind of vibe, almost like in the evening time, because like I said, it is very complex. It's very fresh, very citrusy, very dark, very woody, almost a little bit smoky as well because of the incense. You also have oud in there too, I think is listed, which I do not pick up on any oud, but just a regular kind of woody cedar wood maybe in there. But it is coming at number 9 for a very good reason. And I actually do love this one the more I wear it compared to my first impression of it. All right, coming at number 8 is actually a Fougere in the private line. And I'm speaking about Tom Ford's Fougere Platine. Now, this one has been discontinued from the line, and I believe Fougere d'Argent and obviously Beau de Jour is still actually being sold from Tom Ford. But honestly, Fougere Platine, it's a very dark take on a barbershop Fougere fragrance. So in this fragrance, you of course have a ton of lavender, but you also have a heavy dose of sage in here, which you do really pick up on. But what actually makes it more dark is you have a ton of tobacco and a lot of honey as well. And the tobacco is actually like a nice dark tobacco, which kind of resembles the tobacco you would find in tobacco vanille, that dark, earthy tobacco. But yeah, I really do love Fougere Platine, and I'm so happy I found a bottle of this after it got discontinued to add to the collection. But yeah, Fougere Platine's coming in at number 8. So coming at number 7, I actually have another discontinued private blend, and the fragrance is Tom Ford's Oud Fleur. Now with Oud Fleur, of course, the word fleur means florals or flowers. So you're gonna obviously kind of suppose you're gonna be getting a oud rose combo, which you are getting with this fragrance, but it's actually done in a kind of unique way because alongside the oud rose, you actually have a ton of resinous qualities in here. And I absolutely am a sucker for a resin kind of fragrance. And you are getting it with this one. But you also get patchouli, a nice earthy patchouli. And compared to the other ouds in the Tom Ford lineup, I'm talking about Oud Wood and Oud Mineral, not tobacco oud, because I do really want a bottle of tobacco oud, but have never smelled it. This one is coming across as far as being the most authentic oud smelling, almost like a little bit dirty. I do absolutely love Oud Fleur by Tom Ford, which is why it's coming at number 7. But is it my favorite oud rose combo in general? Probably not, but I do appreciate it. All right, so coming in at number 6 was actually my first love with Tom Ford's private blend bottles. And I'm actually shocked it came up this high, but I kind of just got sick of it, kind of just became old to me. And the fragrance I'm speaking about is Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Now with Tuscan Leather, you do have a very dense, kind of dark, sharp leather accord in this fragrance. But alongside the leather, you have this nice raspberry. So it's like a fruity kind of leather fragrance. Honestly, it is done very, very well. This smell is very expensive, very high quality, and probably one of the most unique leather fragrances. And I'm not sure if Tom Ford was the first person to actually come out with a leather-based fragrance back in 2007 when this one launched alongside all of the original private blends like Oud Wood, Tobacco Vanille, all of those. But I do love Tuscan leather. This will forever be in my collection because it was the first bottle from Tom Ford I ever purchased, I believe back in like 2018 if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I have worn this one a lot, not so much lately, and there is a better leather fragrance in my opinion at this time coming up later in this list. All right, so we reached my top 5 Tom Fords in my collection currently. So coming at number 5 is actually a very expensive fragrance from Tom Ford, and of course it is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. Now obviously with the name of Lost Cherry, you're gonna be expecting maybe like a nice juicy, luscious cherry, and that's exactly what you get with Lost Cherry. It also comes across very boozy. You get a ton of liquor in this fragrance, which I think works perfect alongside the cherry because it's a very nice sour, very authentic cherry note. The most authentic cherry fragrance I've ever smelled, even compared to like L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. This one does cherry a little bit better if you're just looking for a cherry fragrance. But I also believe you do have like tonka bean in here, which gives it a nice creamy smoothness to the fragrance. This is a very unisex fragrance. It does not lean feminine or masculine. Anybody can pull this one off. And I just absolutely am in love with Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. And every time I wear it, I cannot help but smile. And that's why it's coming at number 5. All right, coming at number 4, we are back to another signature fragrance, and it's actually Tom Ford's first creation under his brand. And of course, I'm speaking about Tom Ford's Black Orchid. This is, of course, the Eau de Parfum launched in 2006. Now, Tom Ford's Black Orchid was first launched as a feminine fragrance, but recently changed it to unisex, which I think is a very smart move from Tom Ford because this fragrance does not lean feminine, in my opinion, whatsoever. It's a very unisex fragrance. But with this, you do, of course, get like a nice orchid vibe in this fragrance, hence the name Black Orchid. But what really stands out in here is a truffle note. Now, I'm not speaking about like a chocolate truffle. I'm speaking about a mushroom truffle that grows underneath the ground. This is a very dirty, kind of earthy fragrance with this. Now, you also have patchouli, which is also known to be very earthy. But you have some gourmand touches such as dark chocolate, which I do pick up in the backbone of this fragrance. But all in all, this is a very complex fragrance. I think there's probably like 20 or so notes in this listing. And man, this stuff changes from the first time you spray it to the evening time. It is completely changing with every stage from the top, middle, and dry down. And at the price of the signature line, this could have easily been in the private blend bottles. This is very high quality, and I just am absolutely in love with Black Orchid. Okay, so coming at number 3 is honestly my favorite barbershop fragrance in general out of all fragrances that I've ever smelled at this time, and the fragrance is Tom Ford's Beau de Jour. Now, you see I actually have it in the private blend bottle, which did get discontinued and relaunched in the signature bottle. Honestly, I have tested both of those. I have a decant of the signature and obviously a bottle of the private blend. This one does smell a little bit different. This one's a little bit more darker, a little bit more dense, and a little bit more full-bodied with this. But with Beau de Jour, you have a lavender balm. It's pretty much mostly lavender you're gonna get with this fragrance. Alongside the lavender, you do have some green notes such as like basil. It's a little bit minty as well, and a ton of oak moss. It's just all in all a very, very good barbershop fougere fragrance. If you love the note of lavender, you have to check out Beau de Jour. I know Tom Ford does have a fragrance called Lavender Extreme, which I did come across. I did smell it, but I don't remember it that much. All I remember is how much I love Beau de Jour for being a lavender balm. And that's why it's coming number 3. Trust me, out of my top 3s were very hard to choose. This could have easily been number 2 or 1, but I decided on number 3 with Beau de Jour. Okay, so coming at number 2, I do have another signature bottle, and wow. This just reminds me of Tom Ford. When I think of Tom Ford fragrances, I think of this. And I'm speaking about Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. Now, compared to Tuscan leather is a little bit darker. This one smells like more authentic leather, like a new car smell leather. Alongside the leather, you do have jasmine. It's a very sharp jasmine, very sharp leather in this fragrance. And as it dries down, you do have a nice earthy patchouli. But trust me when I say that the jasmine and the leather are the two dominant notes for almost the whole life of the fragrance. This is not a complex fragrance by any means. It's very linear, but trust me, I don't not mind that because I love the scent profile behind this, especially in the opening. This is just a very dark, very, very masculine. This smells like a leather jacket. Like if you're a biker, you have like a nice leather jacket on. Trust me, this is gonna be the fragrance you're gonna wanna choose for a signature scent. So good. I absolutely am in love with Ombre leather, and I just got this bottle not too long ago, finally. And I was always wanting a bottle of this, but now it's finally in my collection, and it's coming at number 2 for very good reason. All right, so we finally made it to the number 1 spot, and can you guys guess which Tom Ford made it number 1 in my list? I'm sure some of you can because I talked about this on a lot recently. And the fragrance is Tom Ford's Oud Wood. The classic Oud Wood, pretty much the fragrance that made Oud kind of mainstream and more designery. And wow, Oud Wood is definitely my baby. I am so happy to have a bottle of this. Now, I have told this story before, but when I actually went to buy my Tuscan leather, I actually preferred Oud Wood over Tuscan leather, but I just wanted my first private blend to be in that original gold and brown bottle like Tuscan leather comes in. And Oud Wood also came in that bottle way back in the day, and maybe a few years ago they changed all their ouds to like the more like grayish and like a silver kind of gray label there. But yeah, that was the only reason I didn't get Oud Wood at the beginning. And trust me guys, I know that's stupid. Obviously you should buy the fragrance that you liked more, but it was way back in the day, like 4 years ago or so, way before I was even into fragrances at all. That was actually my first high-end sort of niche fragrance that I purchased. And don't get me wrong, I do love Tuscan leather, and I got it kind of the hype behind it, the gold bottle. But man, Oud Wood is my baby. I am in love with this fragrance. It comes across very spicy. You have some pepper in there. You have rosewood in there. Of course you have the oud, but the oud is not a dirty animalic oud. It's kind of like a clean oud. You have some nice cardamom. It dries down to like kind of creamy vanilla as well. And I do have like I think a 2021 batch of this since I just got this year, even though we're in 2022, but I think the batch is 2021. And it does kind of have like a rubbery kind of vibe in the fragrance. I'm not sure if I remember it always being like that, but I do pick up on it in this batch at least. But man, I love Oud Wood. I'm gonna be wearing this one all the time, even though it's more suited for the colder months instead of spring and summer. This is a perfect fall fragrance is Oud Wood. But yeah, that's number 1 is Oud Wood. That's pretty much gonna wrap up my top 14 Tom Fords in my collection ranked. Let me know down below what Tom Fords you actually own. What are some of your favorites and which Tom Fords would you recommend me check out or pick up? Let me know down below. But always leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. And I'll catch all you guys in the next upload. Take care, everybody.